Okay. Um, in this video, gotta love Windows. Gotta love Bill Gates. He's a swell guy. All right. In this video, I'm going to talk about a couple things. So we talked about life insurance, and we've talked about poison and how poison kills you. Which I mean, that's pretty obvious. It ages you all up. It dries you out, and it kills you. Okay. Slowly, miserably over time, and it is misery. It's extremely painful and torturous. It is a torturous way to be killed. All right. Lulls in poisoning can cause amputees. What else ages you? Um, well, uh, having someone break in your house and hit your teeth with a drill, that'll age you up. They start kids off young, having them draw cavities on their teeth in school. Right. It's one thing to teach them to brush them, but they have to go in about cavities and all that. That can actually cause problems because it's a seed. It's a type of a spell or magic that's being done to the kid. Of course, we don't realize that. We think it's just teaching. Uh, they like to say things in threes. I do that too, but I don't mean to. It might be something I picked up from them. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. um, but like I've had people sit there and like actually repeat multiple times, like shit, thinking that they're gonna get me to go to the bathroom. All this really does is make me laugh. Like you don't really think that's gonna work, do you? Maybe on somebody else, but not on me. Um, what else? Let's see. So I mean, you have all kinds of bladder problems, colon problems, stomach problems, obviously ulcer problems, GERD. Um, all that is poison. Okay. Heart attacks. How are those caused? I actually can explain that one exactly. Um, most heart attacks, you know, would be caused, obviously, there's stress. Stress is definitely involved, but poison weakens the heart over time. Okay. They have been adding in drugs like prednisone. They also will add in Imodium, so you can't go to the bathroom. You can get sepsis. It stays in your system longer that way. I don't recommend taking Imodium at all. Just let things run their course. Safer. It's better. It's inconvenient, yes, but you are better off. Um, Now you have the water filtration canister that they may be putting the poison in, or even possibly the streams and wells. It needs to be investigated, so don't freak out. We're going to talk about in a household, not in a city. Okay, in a household, you would have the water filtration canister that they use for filtering your water. Okay. A lot of people have them. They sell them at Menards. They're cheap. It goes in line, pipe here. Thing hangs down in the center, opens up. Inside goes like a twine thing. Okay, there might be other ones, but that's what I had in my house. Okay, this is what I found, what I learned about. I should have known, um, but thanks to Dave and Ed and their games and the visitors, I didn't. Okay, and I was very trusting and dumb. So please, uh, if this happens to you, don't feel dumb. Okay, because I was very trusting and dumb, and I was raised with serial killers, so I shouldn't have been so trusting and dumb. But they took my memories from me. Okay, so it happens. All right. Um, you have the water filtration canister, and then you have your water softener. All right. So let's talk about what poison does to the body. Arsenic and bromelain primarily, but strychnine too. Obviously, it's going to deplete the minerals and stuff in your body because you're going to the bathroom all the time. But it also causes an imbalance, right? So your vitamin D goes down real low, all right, which you see in MS patients. all right, and even in arthritis patients. Your vitamin D can go down real low. If it gets too low, you could end up in a wheelchair. And you'll obviously be bedridden and you're going to be in a lot of pain. All right. Um, Now, the calcium automatically gets raised because there's an imbalance going on. The vitamin D and the calcium work like a team, okay, inside your body. So if the vitamin D goes down, calcium is going to go up, okay? In order for the calcium to stay where it's supposed to, they have to be the same. Plus, you might be eating or drinking calcium extra. People take vitamin C all the time. They're worried about sickness. All right. This was my concern with this virus. If people think it's a virus and they're actually being poisoned and working themselves into tizzy combined, then you are taking in vitamin C that your body does not need. Okay. You're actually making the situation worse and making the poison work better and setting yourself up for a heart attack too. Okay. So the water softener is calcium chloride or something like that. Okay, that comes from the ocean floor. All right, calcium chloride is what you put in the water softener. So you're drinking every time you take a glass of water, you're drinking chemical warfare and poison warfare every time you go to get a glass of water. Right? So not only that, but you're washing your body with it too, and your clothes, and your counters, and your sinks, and your floors, and everything. Okay, you're showering. So what's in that glass of water? You've got chlorine, possibly peroxide. Okay. Then whatever else, if there's fluoride. Okay. Then on top of that, now you have bromelain, possibly arsenic and strychnine, and then a dose of calcium. You have a heart attack in a glass. You have a recipe for sickness and pain and misery, and then you have to go to the doctor. And you go to the doctor and you try to tell them that you don't feel good. Well, of course you don't. Okay. You're not eating the right things. You're obviously not eating beef because, well, the government doesn't want you to, and neither does PETA. Okay. And I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. When there's somebody who wants to be elected and they flat out tell you they want to make sure that America eats even less beef. Okay. I have to wonder what's on their mind. Then, in addition to that, you have chemical food. Just about everything that we eat and we drink that we put in our body is chemicals. Everything. Uh, there really isn't much that's healthy. You've got fruits and vegetables, but you're not eating beef. They complain if you eat cheese. They complain if you drink milk, which it should be whole milk, but they take all this stuff out. So most people go down to the 1% because everybody's worried about gaining weight. But if they actually ate the right things, they would lose weight, which I learned. Okay. But we're all eating chips and snacks and crackers and cereal and canned stuff that really there's nothing in the canned stuff. Not even canned vegetables. Because when you think about it, the canned vegetables, they have chemicals in them, obviously, but they also are boiled. So you're not even getting vitamins. There's no calories, barely. There's no vitamins, and all the good stuff is gone. So there's really no point. Skedios, all that stuff, all of it. It's all chemicals. Just about everything you get from the store nowadays is pretty much chock full of chemicals. Even muscle milk. I looked at muscle milk. That was chemicals. I looked at, Monster. Okay. Monster actually has cyanobalabalin in it. And cyno, C-Y-N-O, that's part of cyanide. Okay. That's the red form. So at the molecular, the smaller structure, it's actually got a little bit of cyanide in your Monster. Again, you don't think that it's affecting you, but I can tell you that it does. It does. It definitely does. So what else? Basically, the chemical food. Then also, if I remember correctly, like the meat is all bleached, not bleached, but peroxided. So they take all the juices off. They don't give you any at the store, even if you do get meat. So you kind of need all that because then they make it taste bad. And then there's Smeat, okay, which is actually designed to make you not want to eat meat, to condition you not to. Smeat is a soy product, and soy as is beans, therefore would have poison in them. Obviously, it makes your stomach hurt. So it looks like beef. You put it in your mouth and in your stomach, and then your stomach hurts. Obviously, it's going to curtail you eating beef. Okay. Same with all the salt. They put tons and tons of salt in everything. Obviously, salt dries you out. It also makes you more thirsty. So does poison. So you're feeding in. The more you ingest, the more that you want. And the more that you want because that's what it does. Okay. Also causes male and female reproductive problems. So you're going to hemorrhage more, have heavier periods, more painful periods, possibly cysts on your ovaries. Of course, that would then you go to the doctor and if they want to rip everything out right away, or just steal you out of the house and do it to you because they think that your body belongs. So, and this is America. So that's it. Basically, you've got instant heart attack in a glass, instant death in a glass in some cases. Depends on how much they put in there. It took me a while to figure it out. I got up to drink some water from the sink. I couldn't sleep. That's also another sign is insomnia. And felt like I had to pee every 5 seconds, and my back was hurting. Why does it hurt? I just this isn't right. So then I went downstairs and I checked. I couldn't get it apart. I opened up the toilet tank and somebody decided to defecate in the toilet downstairs and leave it there for me. That was pretty much their way of saying, oh, hey, brain, you're being poisoned. So I had to get the drill and drill holes into the canister because I couldn't get it apart. And that way, nobody could use it. At least not without me knowing it. Because they actually melted the handle off of mine, so I couldn't turn it, the knob. And that wouldn't have done any good anyway. They just come back in and turn it and fill the canister back up when I'm not paying attention. My way was better. It's completely done. And when I did, white stuff oozed out, and I took a sample and I brought it to New York. All my evidence was stolen. So obviously the cops knew and know. They just guess they don't know who Drew Peterson was, even though he was on the news today. They're gonna let him off for that. So, well, not completely off, but they're not. She lost her life, but he gets to keep his. Although prison is a pretty harsh penalty. Some say, that sucks. It's a pretty shitty way to live. So, anyway, the reality is, in my house, the way it was set up, the hot water heater also got contaminated. And Dave explained that there are these like canisters that you can attach. They call them like heat reducers or heat something canisters. Those could be used to put poison inside of and then attach it and it'll go down in there. I can't for the life of me really figure out what that would be honestly needed for. It was brought up to me. I looked it up online. I did investigate it. I just don't get it. But I can see how it could be used. My hot water heater had like an extra pipe attached to the top, and he said they pumped the poison into it. So we were taking poison baths in the showers. So yeah, it's pretty nasty stuff. And it doesn't just happen to me. Obviously, there are water filtration canisters all over the country. The other day I went at my grandmother's Habit, Carol's house, under the sink in the kitchen. I think I remember seeing something under there, but I'm not entirely sure. And Dave actually killed a landlord because he found one attached to just our pipes in Summit. That doesn't make it okay. But that's how I got stuck in this situation. Besides being kidnapped from him, I saw that. So, put him in the hole. And got told that if I ever told that I was gonna end up in the hole. And then he made me CIA. Pretty much told me he was going to the next day. Start teaching me. So, which I honestly is starting to think was just a way to rape and abuse me with an excuse. Seems like it to me. And oh, and kidnap me, lock me in cells in far off distant lands, have people kidnap me and rape me, and force me to paint, drag me out, but leave them free. Yeah, it wasn't the right thing to do. So, yeah, whatever I'm dealing with, it's not just inhuman, it's not human. I mean, this isn't just inhumane treatment, this is not treating me. Because I don't see how anyone could walk around without a conscience. And be, at least not this many people. So, it's a scary thing. So, your health, that's what it does. Okay, so you have graphics in front of you. You have constantly looking and watching the time, schedules, birthdays, Christmas, even holiday specific ones. You know, January we got to pay attention to every 5 seconds. And then on top of that, people constantly asking your age. You constantly looking at your age on your license. Them stealing your photographs of when you were young or locking you out of your Facebook so that you can't access them, so that you can't see what you look like before. They know what they're doing. All sorts of things like that. And then some people actually have, they haven't done anything wrong. Okay. So you ever hear of like how a person is beautiful until they do ugly things, and then they're not so beautiful anymore. There's actually some truth to that. So then the people who were good, who, were good and nice and genuine, they may have retained their looks or seem even more handsome or pretty to you for whatever reason. Some of it is genes. Um, but then over time, maybe they don't look so hot. And that could be because they might not be such a hot person. So there's something to be said about that. If you're good and you stay good, then you might be able to retain your looks a little bit more. So at least that's how it was explained to me. But I'm not sure. But it makes sense because then it seems like they're trying to push people into doing bad things. They're trying to saddle them with guilty consciences, and they're also trying to rob them of their self-esteem and their self-worth. You could see that in our clothing styles. Matter of fact, I think it's interesting that this year I had to buy clothes, and I went to Kohl's, and they were from like the 80s, like the most ugliest, disgusting stuff there ever was. And I took it personally. And then all of this stuff happened with the virus and everything. And I realized that this has more to do with everyone and dominating and abusing, um, which, psychologically abusing, than it does just me. I mean, but I did take it as an insult because I never get to buy clothes. And I was actually getting some, and it was like I couldn't buy anything because they were so ugly. And people don't want to dress like that, you know. But I did notice it. I also noticed the same problem with suits, them not being very flattering for women. I've noticed a very high sticker price on paper. They don't want you to print anything. They don't want you to write like a lawsuit or write anything down. If you do, it's going to cost you like $4 for 70 sheets of paper. That's more than a little outrageous. It's definitely sending a message to people that they don't want to hear from you. Okay. And then add to that the problems with the courts, and then on top of that, the post office. So when you put it all together, and the phones, they don't want to answer the phone either. So when you put it all together, we definitely have a huge problem. And no, it's not right. Um, it's completely wrong. All of this is completely wrong. You shouldn't be aging people wrongfully. You shouldn't be sticking needles into them and taking anything away or adding anything. Um, you shouldn't be raping them. You shouldn't be robbing them. You shouldn't be stealing their life from them. Um, you shouldn't be doing any of these things. I don't understand exactly where anyone came up with these ideas or what made them think that they should or could or that it was okay. Obviously, there's already laws about all these things. They've already been addressed in court in different situations. Um, there's been cases in regards to attacking someone's appearance. There's been mutilation cases. There have been organ thieving cases. There have been cases of attempted murder and murder for hire, obviously. There's been cases of racketeering and even conspiracy to defraud down in Florida, which Dave might have also been part of. I don't know. So, when you really step back and you look at it, none of this is okay. It's not okay to tell people how much meat they can eat. It's not okay to put peroxide on their meat. It's not okay to tell them that they can't. And it's definitely not okay to overcharge them for it or try to force them to eat chicken or tuna that are full of arsenic or pig, which they bitch about. None of these things are okay. It's not okay for PETA to control what everyone eats. Okay, it's not okay for the government to actually. That falls under liberty. It's personal choice. We have a choice to decide, and we shouldn't be raked over the coals for it. Also, nobody should be abusing our cows or scaring the crap out of everyone with mad cow disease or poisoning our meat. Okay, these types of things should be handled, not ignored, and definitely not promoted. No one should be eating alien. Okay, um, and I don't know what pink slime is, but uh, from what I was told, it's flat out disgusting. And again, falls back on conditioning you not to eat meat. Okay, I don't see what the big deal is. If people want to eat their ground beef or they want to eat a steak, then leave them alone and let them eat their ground beef and their steak. If they want their beef jerky, let them have their beef jerky. What the hell is the big deal? If you weren't trying to rob us of our lives and our health to feed your insurance system, it wouldn't be a big deal, would it? So maybe you need to be called out on that, okay? Because that's what you're doing, and I'm not the only one who sees right there. The FDA says you need 4 ounces of protein. Now all of a sudden, veggies are protein? Since when? No. Okay. You need beef. And let me explain to you something. Chicken. What does a chicken eat? Oh, what does a chicken ingest? Water. What's wrong with the water? We went over this. All right. How big are the filters on a chicken? Filters, kidneys, liver. Okay. It doesn't catch it all. So it goes into the meat. All right. That's number 1 problem. All right. Number 2, too much chicken can give you jowls. And I know you don't believe that, but can you just take my word? Can help give you jowls. You really can. Okay? It's a type of a spell that was cast to keep you from eating chicken because it's full of arsenic. I didn't do it. I'm just telling you. I'm trying to help. No, there's no fixing it, and no, you don't have to believe in spells in order for it to happen. Okay? It's just the way it is. So, fish. Fish was the first animal on this planet. The first. Okay. Fish, anything out of the sea, is protected. It is to be protected and preserved. Okay? Fish, because the water is polluted, are polluted. In addition to that, they, a lot, most, if not all, contain their own toxins within their physical body to help keep you. That's just all. It's just brutal. Tuna has already been found to have a bunch of arsenic in it. All right. If you eat fish, two different things. Your face will round out. You'll start to look like you got gills. You'll get a rounder face. Okay. The other thing is, if you actually look in the Bible, if you were to keel over, you may not ever return. Okay, it's actually, you have to look, it's in the back. I think it's in Revelation. I found it. Okay, it's to protect it. You're not supposed to eat fish. It's one thing if it's an emergency. Okay, if somebody gives you fish and like you're homeless and there's nothing else to eat, that doesn't go on you. Okay, that goes on them because they're not supposed to be serving it to you. All right, but if you have a choice, like there's something else, you're supposed to go take that choice. Okay, I mean, you're not supposed to die or starve to death, or if you have sugar issues, and you have to, you just deal with it. But that's not going to a smorgasbord and getting a big plate of fish, and just because you know that it's gonna upset someone, you do it. Okay, hey, it's your soul, man. That's all I have to say. It's your soul. All right, you're insulting me, but say goodbye. I mean, what do you want from me? So, people, you're obviously not supposed to eat people or drink from their blood or their flesh. This shouldn't have to be explained. It's called cannibalism and it's against the law. But then again, so is necrophilia. So, I can't believe what I'm saying. But it's the truth, okay? So, what can happen is the upper arm part up here can become more round. It'll look like the calf of your leg. Um, that keep in mind, some people have been being hit with prednisone. All right. But it can, and it won't go away. I don't think it does. It might, but that's actually to remind you to eat cow. Not people. I don't know why people are doing this stuff, okay? I can only tell you I've been a victim of it. All right. I've been like followed around. People want my pads. I was told my blood was sold. Yeah, I can't need that in here. I need it, okay, for me. Do you not know how selfish that is? Seriously, like how wrong and how selfish it is for someone to go stealing my blood out of my body for themselves. That's unbelievably selfish and selfless. Okay, I need that. Okay, it's also how I know you're trying to kill me and other people. And you're not human. You have to be an alien. Because why would a human want to do that to someone? All right. So add in, so you have that. All right. And then the blood draws. Constantly wanting your blood. I think it started out as physicals. Possibly. I think it started out as physicals and then it went from physicals to something else. And then now it's all the time they want to mess with you. So they scrape your teeth, cause you to age that way. Now, obviously, stuff in the water is going to affect that too. It's going to mess up your gums, give you gum problems. What else? Screwing up your face and your body and your genitals. So you don't want to have sex or reproduce or have babies. These are what are called all kinds of actions. So, the only suggestion that I have for right now is to try to stay calm. Because obviously, it's been going on for a long time, so it's not a new issue. And we're all still here. But do try to make some changes if you can. At least try to change your diet. and to start getting your strength back and get healthy again. And I mean, follow God's law and try and work on your self-esteem. Um, try not to let yourself be dominated so easily. Try not to be so hateful and mean-spirited to each other. And just be good to each other. I shouldn't really have to say any of this because even if there weren't a such thing as aliens, which even if there weren't, there are always other countries. There's nuclear power. There's atomic bombs. There's all these wars and fights and arguments going on, and you just don't know. One of these people could flip their lid overnight, and we could all be gone. And you have to keep that in the back of your mind. Not only that, but our time is precious. It doesn't matter if what they say. It really is. Today only happens today. Yesterday only happened yesterday, and tomorrow will only happen tomorrow. So you don't want to take that lightly. Every minute that's lost is a minute that counts, and that's important. And you have to respect that, and your body, and other people, and life, and it should be alright. It's not that hard of a thing to do. If I can do it after everything I've been through, you can do it too. I'm not special. I'm a regular Joe. Okay. So if I'm a regular Joe and I can find it to be good, even though people have really crossed the line unbelievably badly, you can too. Okay. And even if you thought you couldn't, then let me be an example. It's something. At least maybe it'll help it all count for something. Because right now, it doesn't count for much. None of it. Who knows? Make a difference. Which is another issue I'm going to address. Using people for political agendas. I'm not a very happy camper. Okay? I hate politics. Not my thing. Not my thing. I'm not even big on this lawsuit stuff. I'm just good at it. But I'm really not big on it. But I am a stickler, and I am good at it. That's because I know my right from my wrong. So to me, it's logic and elementary. It's simple. It's like a no-brainer. But I'm really angry because I wanted to do art. And certain people decided that I shouldn't be allowed to do art. I spent a lot of time going to school to do art. I took a lot of classes to learn how to do art. For whatever reason, they were so hateful, they stole it. And then they didn't let me earn using my art or anything else, which is called sanctioning. Okay. It's also oppression and abuse and torture. Then they kidnapped me and raped me and molested me while they were poisoning me and holding me captive and forced me to paint, trying to tell me that I didn't have kids, that the scar on my stomach was from some kind of surgery. Then they sold the art that I made. It's also been like my basis for my gallery showing was used. It wasn't my exact work, but it was my idea in videos and stuff like that. Talk about hateful and rotten. Dave stole a lot of stuff. The girls too. Words that we use. Did you know that Maddie Ubers me before Uber ever existed? Do you know what that means? It means I love you bigger than that. That's what Uber means. Now it's a car service. But that's where the word actually came from. It came from my daughter. So, you all think you're funny, but I don't. I think you're extremely disrespectful and hateful for no reason. I sat in my house being abused and poisoned and killed and robbed of my entire life. While you all laughed and knew and made fun, made cash at my expense and at their expense, as if we were lesser, deserving of a life. Like your life was more important, your health, your car, your house. Ours didn't count for nothing. And it wasn't because of anything that we did, it was because of what you did that you shouldn't have been doing or even thinking about. And that's pretty disgusting. That includes keeping me and him apart, forcing me to live a lie so you could get away, and then kidnapping my kids and keeping me from them and holding them hostage, thinking you're so. Maybe you should think about that the next time you look in the mirror when you're being hateful or rotten and jealous. Because I am superior. And what makes me superior is that I would never, could never, could not even think up, would refuse, would stand up, and would do the right thing. Not the wrong thing. For you. But you did not. You could have, but you chose not to. So I'm not the disappointment. I'm not the loser. I'm not the letdown. Not at all. And all I need is to know that by looking at all you've done. Because you felt like it. Because you wanted to. Like, that's a good reason. So, go ahead and hate me all you want. At least I'm keeping you alive. Genuinely. I guess that says it right there. This is what you call irony. And soon, hopefully, I can leave. Because the last thing I want to do is stay in a country that has done nothing but steal my life, my time, rape me, use me, steal all my money, my kids, mutilate my body, and where I can't even earn a dollar, can't trust the bank, can't trust the store, I can't trust the stock market. There is absolutely no point to being here. I have done nothing to no one. There is no reason to sanction me. It's not up to others to decide who gets to the top and who don't. There is no extra price to be paid for getting to the top, i.e., spreading your legs. All of these things are disgusting and wrong. It goes against free enterprise. Okay? So does hacking computers, that's against the law also. Bugging phones. And chipping. I mean, did I sign a permission slip? Did I sign a permission slip for my kids? Because I didn't. And he was my kidnapper. Keyword here is hostage. So, what makes you think all of a sudden that some sick ass pedophile, sex trafficking, human trafficking, rapist, serial killer his life and his family with everyone mutilated all around him, everyone poisoned all around him, and all these dead people, why do you seem to feel that his life is more valuable than mine and my kids and what he says? Could you explain to me why you listen to criminals, yet pretend to be superior to me, like as if you know you're right from your wrong, which is actually laughable at this point, because you don't. I don't know why you don't. You should. You really should, but you don't. Can you tell me why I was raised by serial killers, but I have a conscience? Can you tell me what happened to all of your consciences? When you look in the mirror, who, or shall I say what, do you see? Are you proud of yourself? Do you have kids? When they look at you, who do they see? Do they look up to you? Do they really? Well, I know this much. I'm not the only one who feels this way, and I'm not wrong. And you'll never convince me of that. But again, I'm not at this point, because I'm saving your life anyway. Which also proves who the bigger man is, or woman, and that I'm a woman of my word. Keeping people safe means keeping people safe. It doesn't mean lying to them and robbing them. I'm going to go because I'm getting extremely angry. You just can't